Someone or something has upset you when you feel triggered, like you're about to lose control. What do you do? In this video, we're going to discuss what to do when you're triggered, whether it's anger or sadness or anything in between, the reasons why these triggers are there, how to respond with intent rather than react with uncontrolled emotion, and how to deal with the emotions that surface in a healthy, self-empowering manner. Stay tuned. The idea of being triggered has increasingly worked its way into conventional thought over the past few years, becoming more and more prevalent. The general notion here is that an outside stimulus, whether it be a person or event, causes an uncomfortable reaction within us, creating extreme anger, sadness, fear, or some other form of distress. In some instances, a trigger may prompt involuntary recall of a previous trauma, along with its accompanying negative memories and emotions. The concept of being triggered suggests that what occurs is outside of our control, that it is something that, unfortunately, just happens to us. It's not unlike when the trigger on a gun is pulled. The bullet will automatically fire from the chamber in response, whether the user wishes for it to or not. The question we must ask ourselves regarding this topic is not whether we may be triggered, but rather whether the narrative surrounding this idea is true. In other words, must we be the victims of our perceived triggers? Or is there a means of transcending or somehow undoing this automated knee-jerk reaction? In order to answer these questions, we must momentarily set aside any emotionally charged beliefs on the topic, any presuppositions which we may be holding. After all, if we wish to see truth, our perceptions must be clear of personal bias and any egoic agendas. So, let's take off the cap of belief and in its place, don the hat of the introspective detective.
I can certainly put on my Nancy Drew detective hat and check into that for you.
If we accept the idea that we can be triggered by others without question, that others hold power over our emotional state, then this will become our experience, and in this way it will become our truth. However, through the power of self-observation, by closely watching our internal world, we discover that there is space between a trigger and our response. For those of us that do not employ self-observation, this space will be minute at best and will most likely escape our notice altogether. In order to discover this place of power within, we must be willing to look at our perspective and not solely through our perspective on a moment-by-moment basis. In other words, should we wish to reclaim our personal power and transcend our triggers, we must begin to cultivate our own self-awareness. Self-observation coupled with introspection reveals to us that our triggers are present for a reason. These experiences occur not to cause us pain, but rather to make us aware of the pain we are holding within ourselves. When a triggering moment occurs, we are being presented with an opportunity to let go of old pains, to let go of trauma from the past. On a spiritual level, these pains are coming up to the surface for the purpose of being released. When we let go of past pains that we have been holding on to, we no longer need these triggering circumstances, and bonus, they will therefore no longer be a part of our experience.
Okay, I think I know how to make this all go away.
So, what do we do the next time we're triggered? How do we handle the overwhelming emotions that threaten to hijack our consciousness? The next time you feel triggered by something or someone, Pause and take a deep breath before you do anything. If possible, take a few deep breaths. Taking a deep breath is akin to rebooting your system, and in so doing, you'll not only feel calmer, but you'll simultaneously create that aforementioned space we discussed between the trigger and your response. Now, turn your focus inward. For a moment, place your awareness inside your body rather than in your external environment. Can you sense constriction where inside the body? Is there a knot in your stomach? A lump in your throat? Perhaps a tightness in the chest? If you're able to feel a localized sensation of tension somewhere within your system, leave your awareness there until the sensation passes. Don't fight it and don't force it. Just remain with the sensation until it dissolves of its own accord. Most importantly, observe any emotions which may be present. Rather than align with these emotions and turn control over to them, instead simply allow them to be. For you see, you are not your emotions. If you were, you would not be able to observe them from a separate vantage point. The insight to be gleaned from this discovery of self-knowledge is that you are consciousness. You are the observer of your emotions and not the feelings themselves. Again, these emotions are coming to the surface to be released. Once they've passed through and exited your system, you'll experience a lightness about you and an increase in joy and inner peace as you go forward through life. Once you've engaged in observing rather than aligning with your emotions, you will have created a more stable footing within, a centered place from which you can choose how to respond or not respond, given the dynamics of the situation before you. But regardless of what comes next in the external world, the most important thing here is that you have undone the former knee-jerk reaction, thereby beginning the process of reclaiming your personal sovereignty, of increasing your personal power, and by extension, of leveling up your consciousness.